final. He serves first, looking to win his 62nd of them.
You can see the black ribbon on the shirt. Of course, it's been a pretty tough week for his country, the Ukraine. Many people having suffered back in his homeland.
Yesterday, he simply tweeted an image of the Ukraine flag with a long, heartfelt message to his compatriots back home. Already, Nadal is looking livelier than yesterday.
It could be a tough day if Dolgopolov's going to be forced to hit shots from those parts of the court. There's the ribbon, the black ribbon.
It's been so impressive how he's been able to keep his focus all week, considering what he's been watching online and on the TV of back home.
Taster of that return and touched on, and again his timing's so good, especially off the backhand side. This is maybe a shot yesterday that we saw Pablo Andujar run around and hit the forehand inside out, wasn't it, off the ad side? He would use the forehand, but Dolgopolov probably has a slightly better backhand in terms of the return because it is so flat, and therefore he can hit it hard and cross court.
Nadal averts the danger in the first game. Rather, it got up to 42 degrees Celsius. Put a picture of himself on Twitter afterwards where he was red raw in the face.
Chance to talk to Dolgopolov Senior earlier on very briefly in the Players' Lounge just about some of the decision making that he's made, and he said one of the things they've decided to do this year is not play Davis Cup. He said he just felt playing Davis Cup didn't give him enough time to prepare for specific tournaments coming in, so they've cut that out of the schedule. He also talked about he also said one of the things that was important is they looked back when he broke into the top 100. And if you look back in that sort of 2009, 2010 period when he first broke in the top 100, he played a lot of matches on clay. I think tons of matches on this surface. And he said he just felt last year he came in undercooked. He came in undercooked when the clay court tournaments come around. He said last year I think he only played 11 matches overall on clay. And he said he feels that if he can get the matches on this surface, you know, in many ways coming here for this swing was a little bit of a preparation for the European clay courts, i.e. Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome, which of course are only, and he misses that, only 2 months away. And he said after Miami they'll be having 3 weeks off. Not entirely convinced by this call. It is wide. He'll be having 3 weeks off after Miami, and they'll be going to Monte Carlo specifically to practice on the clay. They won't be playing Casablanca or anything like that. And he feels these matches here that he's had in the last 3 weeks in the Golden Swing are going to hopefully down the line be beneficial come the spring.
Marvellous. His serve has been outstanding this week. And it's a surprise, really, that he hasn't played more clay court tennis in his career, because that's the surface that he pretty much grew up on. He used to play with Andrei Medvedev a lot at the Monte Carlo Country Club when he was growing up. They're teasing each other.
Yeah, confidence extremely high.
There is Alexandr alongside Alessio, who's Dolgopolov's physical trainer.
The Italian used to work with the Italian Tennis Federation before being hired full-time. Dolgopolov.
Well, as well as training with Andrei Medvedev, he said he used to pester players all the time to have a hit with him when he was a young kid, including Andre Agassi. I think with his returning this week, attacking it so much, you can see a little bit of Agassi in there.
Certainly in the court position that he takes up. Andre, of course, known for his suffocating style of play.
Just wide. It's been called wide. Nadal circled the mark, and he's walking back to the chair. And it was indeed just wide. The chair umpire has confirmed it. So both players have started on good form here. We have no breaks of serve, though, in the opening 10 minutes by 2 games to 1. 21st. Lies written on the internet.
Dolgopolov can't see a mark. The reason being because it's on the line. Really see too many balls of that sort of quality yesterday from Nadal, did we? Again, it's a ball with a lot of loop, a good length, and you could see Dolgopolov really trying to struggle to control it.
Still have 30.
Such an intelligent shot, wasn't it, from Nadal? I knew Dolgopolov was going to be steaming in here. Couldn't put the brakes on. Just completely turned the rally around.
However, that was the kind of forehand that he'd make against Ferrer. Everything was going for him against the second seed. That was even beyond the baseline. So was that. It's a break to love for Rafael Nadal, and this is so much better from him compared. Today it's considerably more comfortable than it was yesterday. 55% humidity compared to 78 yesterday.
Flat as a pancake, the Dolgopolov forehand, but see, on a ball like that where he has time, his ability to take it early and really come down on it.
Managed 4 of his own, but that was enough.
Got the width on the second serve, but again, there's evidence of the Dolgopolov backhand return, and it's so lethal here.
Smooth then from Nadal. Just the one break, but it's enough for. Well, he's already surpassed the 100 mark in aces for the year, which is an excellent record, but still less than half the tally of Ivo Karlovic. He's already beyond 200 aces for the year. was runner-up in the US National Indoor Tennis Championships in Memphis last weekend.
Well, he knew as he kind of ran up to it that it wasn't going to be simple, just because of the way he approaches those sorts of shots. But just timed the jump wrong, I think.
14, that's it.
Delightful way to hold on to his serve for a second time.
There we go. If Nadal doesn't get him on the move and he drops it a bit short, Dolgopolov has that ability to come down here. You can see on the run. Plays it with one leg almost in the air. Certainly explosive. I think he almost slow balled him there, because Dolgopolov had taken up such an, again, early position. Nadal saw that, I think, and I think he actually just threw in a bit of almost a slower second serve that Dolgopolov just mistimed. When you show this guy some space, especially when you leave him down the line open, he will, certainly on the evidence of the last 2 days, he'll find it.
To a few notes. No idea what they said, of course. Perhaps, though, how to break Nadal down.
So the ball striking we've seen in the last 2 days, isn't it? From Dolgopolov, not settling at all, not allowing Nadal just to dominate here. He's the one taking charge of the baseline rally, certainly in this game.
So for just his 7th time after 4 previous meetings, Alexandr Dolgopolov has a break point against Nadal. ace from Nadal. On break point as well.
And Dolgopolov played pretty much the perfect point. And yet somehow Nadal's powers of recovery got him back in it. Phenomenal defence.
Exactly the kind of point that was lacking from his match yesterday. Great to see. Finally, there's one shot that Nadal will not reach.
Well, entertaining rally yet again. Dolgopolov with a beautiful drop shot, and again followed up nicely with the lob. Read this one here. He was just good enough with the little drop volley. The everywhere man wasn't quite up to that last ball.
It's a second chance to break then.
Not sure if Damien Dumassois just said to Rafa there, just watch your time, be careful. And again, look here, we've had this issue all week with the players given plenty of warnings. We had 2 for each man yesterday in the match with Andorra. Both men lost a serve. And again, Rafa has been sweating profusely at times this week, perhaps more than we've ever seen him. And he actually had a spray out yesterday, didn't he, to just try and help him with his grip. Again, just being told to quicken things up.
Yeah, that grip that he, rather the spray that he puts on his hands is called a magic grip, which prevents sweat from affecting the grip on his racket. Well, this is turning into a highly significant game because there's a huge difference between 5-2 and 4-3. Nadal can come through this, he'll be 1 game away from the set. Three chances in the game, but still Alexandr Dolgopolov cannot secure his first. Yeah, Damien Dumassois is coming down to check this one. And they've had disagreements so far, but they should have fairly fond memories of each other. Dumassois was the man in charge of his 2012 Roland Garros final, the one that was spread over 2 days because of rain against Djokovic. He went on to win, of course.
trying to defend that second serve at the moment. Just won 2 from 7, and you can see why there. Just a little short. Nadal losing the point, but dominating it.
Dolgopolov's second serve percentage, points won, has to improve dramatically there. To improve slightly, but that effort that takes him to 3 game points. Most comfortable service hold so far then from Alexandr Dolgopolov. But now the serious hard work comes.
From Nadal, very decent return, but Nadal almost hit a half volley forehand down the line there.
3 points now then to make it 9 sets out of 9 against Dolgopolov. Remarkable serving today from Rafa. A huge improvement in that department, and that sees him through to
effective, that play against Nadal, isn't it? Again, we saw it with Landahol yesterday, the one out wide. Where players have been willing to really get on inside and step up to try and hit the open court.
Is there anything here that Dolgopolov needs to do differently from the first set? Is there anything that jumps out to you, or has he just got to try and maintain his level and hope that Nadal gives him more chances?
Yeah, massively. I mean, as I say, I think, as you say, he's had a good set of tennis. I mean, he'll sit down in this chair, I think, and be pretty satisfied with the way he played. There's one area for me, I think. The only area for me as Nadal, I think, is just not that one. Is the first serve return, and I don't think he's returned the first serve quite as well. And I think the lefty spin has just been a little bit troublesome for him. He hasn't quite always got it out in front as he wished. Certainly one thing that stood out against both Fognini and Ferrer was how well he was able to dominate off their serves, both first and second. He hasn't quite done it off the first today. Again, another thing that he played really well against Ferrer yesterday was he used the drop shot, timed the drop shot so well, didn't he? But Ferrer, sorry, Nadal has just been up to the challenge. Again, he just read that one, didn't he, early, and was chasing it before it even bounced. He was on his way.
14, 30.
Nadal definitely saw him coming there. Again, going for the surprise tactic, looking for the easy volley, but Nadal saw it and added more spin and more dip, and therefore it dropped on his shoelaces, and it wasn't the simple put away that he was looking for.
This fundamentally didn't get broken at the start of the second set. So a game point now to avoid that. All week, that's been an easy point winner for Dolgopolov. That serve out wide in the juice court. So many players have struggled with it, especially Fognini. Smacked down 11 aces in that match. And there's another to see him ahead in the second set.
I didn't miss by much. He's one of these players who tends to try and hit his way out of trouble. Dolgopolov, doesn't he? You can see when he's in a defensive position, he will go and attack it. He won't always play the sensible card. Perhaps sensible being the wrong word, maybe a more percentage card. He's not that sort of guy, is he? He's a guy that quite happily in a position of trouble, take a risk, have a swing.
You know, it was Andy Roddick who described him a few years ago as aggressive to the point of psychosis.
Had a few good lines, didn't he, Andy?
He still does.
14.
Enjoying his golf these days and everything else he does. Played some seniors tour last week, did Roddick. It was in Delray, wasn't it? Somewhere around there.
Well, Nadal's looked over the net, seeing how well Dolgopolov's serving. Had to be very energetic to get the power in his shots, and I think we still see some of that now carried on.
nice change-up as well. Dragged that one cross-court for the most part, isn't he? But that one just held it and took it down the line and just made Rafa turn around. Nadal couldn't deal with anything, and a nice little sneak in. Done that well as well this week. Not been afraid to come in when he's seen the chance.
Vintage Nadal put away. Could go a longer way to putting away Dolgopolov in this match as well now. 2 break points. It's a long road back from here for the underdog. A set and now a breakdown at 2-1. How important is it here, Nick, that Dolgopolov gets a quick response in this second set so that Nadal doesn't escape?
I think it's critical, isn't it? And he just hasn't been able to really get a foothold in a Nadal service game. Only that one where he had the opportunities. Mixing his serve up nicely as well, Nadal. Trying to give Dolgopolov too much rhythm.
That's what he's been waiting for. It's typical of Dolgopolov all week.
40-30.
He's been given a few God-given talents, hasn't he, Dolgopolov? Timing certainly right there.
Former world number 13 can't quite elbow his way back into that service game of Nadal's in the Emirates ATP rankings. Using skills like that, he's managed to put in a couple of decent performances at the majors. Burst onto the scene at the 2011 Australian Open, when he knocked out the former finalist Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. And then Robin Soderling as well, in another 5-setter. And he's pushed some of the big name players hard before. You might remember him losing an epic first set tiebreak 16-14 at the US Open to Djokovic. Didn't quite match the drama of the one yesterday, though, between Nadal and Andujar.
See the drop shot effectively, it just holds up on the clay. If you play it well with enough backspin.
30-15.
It's certainly a surface that takes it well.
He's up to 6 of those now. Scratch that. Dolgopolov then manages to keep the gap to just ATP rankings, just like Dolgopolov is now. It was the Slovak Dominik Hrbatý in Auckland 2004 who beat him on that occasion when Rafa was just 17.
First serve continues to be extremely effective for him. Now on 25 of 28 points behind the first serve. Nadal just laid a platform for him in this match. How many times this week have we seen Dolgopolov take control off the return? But again, there he's guessing, isn't he? He's caught, he's in an aggressive position, but he's just not expecting the forehand. He's waiting for the backhand. Suddenly it's a forehand. Suddenly he has to go to the chip. And it gives Nadal time to wind up.
That'll get the juices flowing.
Keynes is in. 15 minutes.
Oh,
That is splendid.
quite phenomenal forehand as Dolgopolov lasered that at him with absolutely every...
His instinctive best.
30-15. Third heat, 15.
Without his strong serve today, it would be a whole lot worse for Dolgopolov.
Looked like a bad miss, but in truth, because he's trying to hit it that hard, because he's so far up the court, obviously he's got less of an area to hit into. So therefore, he's got to hit it. Hitting it that hard, he's got to add just a little bit more spin to bring it down.
And if it were any other player, you'd harshly castigate him for it. But because it's his style, you can't take it away from him.
Exactly.
Dolgopolov.
He was begging for that one to drop on the line. It didn't.
Igual. Yes.
The red lights are flashing. The sirens are sounding. It's danger zone time for Dolgopolov.
Back of the court.
Break point.
It's pretty unorthodox, but I think even by his standards, he didn't mean a forehand to quite the initial forehand to be quite there. But rode his luck nicely.
Yes.
Complete shank initially. It's made it awkward for Rafa.
Just what he needed. Fourth ace of the set.
Dolgopolov.
A vital game for Dolgopolov to pull himself through in any way possible.
plenty of occasions yesterday where it looks as though Nadal's game from the back of the court disappeared. But today he really has tightened the screws in that department, isn't he? The unforced error counts, well, single digits so far. Kept the pressure on throughout.
He's looking to maintain a 100% record today in Brazil. 13 wins, 0 defeats so far. He's only played 2 tournaments previously, though. Sao Paulo last year, the scene of his first title back after 8 months without one because of the knee problem. Crucial game here for Dolgopolov to try and make an imprint. He's running away from him quickly. Can you just skip through the line, that one, perhaps? Well, as has been the case all week, the helicopters are circling around. You get a mighty good view from up there.
Returns that Dolgopolov's got a hold of. Not easy either here, could serve out wide, but look at this on the stretch again. Strength to be able to find the length, and the follow-up is equally as good.
That style on that forehand is remarkable. Haven't quite spotted that one in any textbook so far. Those statistics we were shown there suggest that it's been a very high quality final.
First service.
Great job today of just keeping on top of Dolgopolov, hasn't he? He's just kept his foot on top of him, just kept him down, not allowed him too many opportunities.
And he needed a little bit of luck. It eludes him once more. He's on the precipice now. Nadal is a game away from the tie. Ended in straight sets.
Super. Expecting the big one down the line. That's been the staple diet. Dolgopolov shows him a different hand here.
45. 40-15.
So far, Nadal unable to capitalise on any nerves that Dolgopolov might have. They didn't affect him in the closing stages against Ferrer.
Yeah.
And they don't here either. Fundamental hold. Nadal.
He just went against his own instincts. I thought he was lining up for the one down the line. It opened up a huge gap here. It was all set. Nadal again. Some super defense.
Could that be a game changer? You don't often see Nadal miss these. Something for Dolgopolov to build on. Can you believe it? Just as with the case yesterday, after receiving the warning, he won the following point anyway. Clenched fist from Dolgopolov, who's still got the belief.
Trademark shot. And it does give him a shot here. Slim one.
Break point or match point? Dolgopolov could be about to strike back. He missed 3 break points, all in the same game in the first set. This to keep his own title chances alive. It is remarkable. In the 10th set that these two have played against each other, for the first time.
tell you what, from what we've seen this week, he is someone right now who has firm belief in his abilities.
15 minutes.
Well, that stops his little run. He was on a roll.
15 on. Let's
One of the features as well, I don't know about you, Ed, but for me, I've not really seen Dolgopolov be quite as animated as this before on a tennis court. Not consistently, you know. He's one of these guys who does really very sort of laconic type figure, isn't he, on court? He looks very lackadaisical, but he really has been fired up this week. There's been a lot of emotion.
This time he's releasing it in the right way as well.
14.
By far and away, the man who's made the most aces this week. Well, can you believe what's happening here? A moment ago, Nadal was serving for the tie.
How good is this guy's backhand? Quite phenomenal defence. And how good is this guy's timing as well? Half volleying balls that Nadal's putting on his shoelaces.
0
Inspired.
Well, for an answer to those two questions, you just had to look around the stands and see some even on their feet. They really want to see this one go into a third.
Because the ball didn't bounce up as he was expecting it to. It stayed a little low, but he made a really nice adjustment here.
15 on.
Dolgopolov feels as if he had a chance on that return.
30 seconds.
Think about the tactic we're talking about, that one that tucks him up.
40 to
He's got
10.
fairly long levers, isn't he, Dolgopolov? And that one just awkward, because it's always tucking into your right hip, so you're always trying to get the ball out of the way, almost into the strike zone.
Oh, it is sumptuous from Nadal. He's seen Dolgopolov raise his game, and he's matching it. Dolgopolov has already won one and lost one this week. Both against Facundo Bagnis. Bad start for Dolgopolov.
1-0. 1-0.
Can't blame him for going for it.
Nadal.
Had the hole down the line. Good return from Nadal, though. Didn't do enough with the forehand, the Spaniard. A little too shy with it, a little too short. Dolgopolov found a good pass.
1.
So far then, this tie-break mimicking that of last night when the first 5 points went against serve.
Joshua. 2-1. Nadal. Point.
Very late call. Dimoswat is off out of his chair immediately. He confirms his own call. Inopportune moment for that. First double fault of the match from
3-1.
Dolgopolov.
Nadal.
Well, that could be critical. He's dropped both of his points on serve there.
4-1. Nadal.
Again, we'll talk about the fine margins that Dolgopolov does play with sometimes, and it's a good example as he doesn't give the ball a lot of net clearance. Of course, it's helped him so much this week because he's been able to hit through opponents, but just that time let him down.
But he picked the right option that time. And it does keep great interest alive in the tie-break. Just a one-mini break between them. How about reasserting your authority, Rafael Nadal?
Yeah, unlucky, wasn't he? Just bounced up a little bit here, caught maybe a cluster of clay or something, or a flat spot on the court, and Dolgopolov unable to do anything, offer any kind of reply. And he's in a pretty big hole now.
Oh. Brave. Just about finds the line.
5-3. 5-3. Nadal.
You wouldn't expect anything less from this Ukrainian. He's found the corner. The look of Dolgopolov has run out.
6-3.
And he let it go. An error of judgment. He let it go. The racket was there for the volley, but of course, as we know,
He's had a rough ride, but Rafa is champion again for the 62nd time in his career. He's a singles winner on the ATP World Tour. Dolgopolov today didn't quite have enough answers. It was the best performance he's put in against Nadal, but for the fourth